The disciples of Jim coalesce and form a greater union.
What's going on, brother? Hell yeah. What's happening, dog? I finally made infinity, dude. That was my goal. That was my last rune word I really wanted to make was infinity. Hell yeah. It's pretty expensive. Burmal Burriest. It's used to get conviction aura for Javazons and lightning sorceresses. You put it on the mercenary. So you always want to put it in an ethereal base. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Alders. I wish they would make Alders better. Druid's got kind of gypped on the sets. Druid set's not really that great. Another soul ring. Nice. Dude, I had like 7 viewers in here earlier. This morning. No. I got up to like 5 viewers. 5 or 6. I don't remember. Hell yeah. I'm all Barb, baby. I'm all Barb. Hell yeah, he does, bro. Hell yeah. He does. I'm a Barb. I'm a man's man, bro. I'm a bad son of a bitch. I found that this is the best play to get. I found that this is the best way to get high runes. You run a Barb, and you use find item after you kill Hell Council. And you just do it over and over and over again. That's the best way to get high runes in this whole game, in my opinion. No, I didn't see that, dog. So Barb's come out on top again, boys. Barbs are kicking ass again. Yeah, I didn't see it, dog. Hell yeah. They were always kicking ass. Speaking of Barbs, I'm gonna put a fat ass fucking dip in. Hell yeah. I'm gonna put a big ass fucking dip. Oh, that's pretty badass, dog. That's fucking awesome. When's that coming out? Nice. That sounds fucking awesome, dude. I mean, Ric Flair's in there, right? Ric Flair's in there, right? He's gotta be in there, dude. I hope he is. Ric Flair's my favorite. Oh, okay. Where's Strider, man? Where's his ass at? I showed you my Barb's equipment, didn't I? Hell yeah, son. He's like the Silver Surfer for the time stream, dog. Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. Oh shit. I'll show you my equipment in a little bit. Which I know you're probably gaming right now. For any interested parties on how I built my Trav Barb, this is clear. This is strictly for fucking finding runes. So the Trav Council is basically like mini bosses. It's basically like mini bosses for runes, okay? Trav drop a lot of runes. I found a lot of good runes using this Barb. You can find any rune you need to find. Burr runes, jaw runes, any kind of fucking runes. The quickest way to do it is doing what I'm doing right here. This is the quickest way to find any kind of good runes. Like when you hit in game, this is what you want to be doing. You want to be trying to run Trav over and over, using find item, finding fucking runes. This is what I've figured out. Cows are good too, but I prefer this. It's quicker. It's a quick and dirty method. Quick method. There's only one caveat. If you want to do melee, you're going to have to get these griefs, because otherwise melee barb's not going to be any good. There's other things you can get too, but you can run Trav with a Hammerton or with a Sorceress or with whoever until you get the low runes for griefs, or a grief and a Zod, or you can also use, this is death. Put it in an ethereal base, Colossus Sword. So I've got Aureates. You can also use Gwillem's face. Actually, Gwillem's gives more damage because you get that extra Crushing Blow, Deadly Strike. I'm using Aureates because Aureates gives resistances. I put a socket in it and I put a jewel with resistances in it. You can also put an rune. Most people probably put an rune. Highlord's Wrath. Increased attack speed does not work on barbarian weapons in this game. Hopefully they'll change that. But the Deadly Strike, 33%, is pretty much worth it. You get a little bit of resistances and plus all the skills as well. Dual Greaves, you can also use a Breath of the Dying two-hander, like a Greater Poleaxe or something. I would use a Greater Poleaxe. And you can also use Grief, Azure Wrath, a little more budget. Grief, Death, Grief, Breath of the Dying. You can also put Griefs in axes, Berserker axes. Berserker axes have one more range. Phase Blades only have 2 range, but they're indestructible, so you don't have to repair. The standard is probably just 2 Griefs in 2 5-socket Phase Blades. Just regular Phase Blades, as long as they got 5 sockets. You just have to have the low rune. That's the hard rune to get. You get the low F tier low mal row. You just have to have the low rune. The low rune's hard to get, but it's not hard to find. I mean, you just keep running Trav with a Blizzard Sorceress or something. Get over and over until you get it. This is a low rune as well. You don't have to run Fortitude. You can just run a Skulder's Ire. You can run any armor. You really don't have to have this armor. This adds 300% enhanced damage. That's why I'm running it. Also gives resistances. Max Lightning resist too. Max Lightning resist actually helps pretty good because those guys do some lightning damage as well. String of Ears. This is a perfect 15% DR. It goes from 10 to 15. Best strength, you just want the highest DR. The lifesteal, it don't really matter if it's a 6, 7, or 8%. 15% DR is the highest. Just try to get as much DR as you can, damage reduced. I got Bull Kathos. This gives more lifesteal. That's why I don't really care about what the lifesteal is on this, because you got Bull Kathos. So your lifesteal is going to be over 10% no matter what. It's going to be, of course, Bull Kathos goes from 3 to 5. This is a perfect Bull Kathos. It's a 5%. This is the best gloves. These are extremely easy to find, very easy to get. I have tons of them. I found them and left them on the ground because they're so cheap to trade for. This is the best melee glove in the game because it adds 350% damage. Demons, 20% increased attack speed, and of course, we're killing demons. Yeah, either the blades or axes. The best weapon bases are berserker axes for grief. Either berserker axes or phase blades. At least for this build. Gore Rider, that's the best boots. These are pretty cheap. Faster run walk, 15% crushing blow, 15% deadly strike. Deadly strike's basically a chance for double damage. Also has open wounds. Open wounds just, if it procs, it does damage over time. Open wounds is good. Obviously a Barb Torch, Anilius. You always want to have these charms. Anybody who plays D2 knows that. You want to try to get these charms. They're kind of spendy. You're probably not going to have them early on, but you don't need to have them, but that's going to help get your resistances up. The main resist is... Fire resistance is really important because they cast Hydras. But, I mean, your life's going to be over 3,000, well over 3,000 just with battle orders, so that's all the equipment. On Switch, I have these heart carvers because they give 4 to find item. So now my find item has a 52% chance to proc. And the good thing about find item is when you use find item, not only does it drop loot again on the corpse, just like you killed the corpse, it drops loot again. So you basically get 2 loot drops from one enemy. It's 52% chance to get another drop. But the real kicker is it drops like it's a player's 8 game. So you're going to get more drops when it procs. So Barbs are actually going to get a lot more loot than any other class running this Trav. And since Trav is quick to run, I think Barb's probably definitely the best for just finding runes. You can also run Alibabas with Ist runes for magic find or whatever, but I run those because I'm not looking for I'm not trying to get magic find. I'm just looking for runes, and magic find does not affect rune drops. I just run the heart carvers just to give my item find a little more % chance of proc. Charms, I don't have any good charms. I mean, I got a Geeds. This has attack rating and life on it. This has attack rating. Attack rating is basically melee's chance to hit. So this is mana. I don't really need that. I mean, I just got it for extra mana because the best charms would be max damage, life, and attack rating. So my charms are actually not very good. And then I've got some resistance charms. Just the rest of your charms just to cap your resistance. You want max damage. Like I said, none of my charms are good. These aren't really good charms. Still got a lot of ways to go. Really, really good charms are kind of expensive, but you don't really need them. You don't really need good charms. I mean, you don't even have to have any charms. You're going to do enough damage with grief anyway. I just got them because I've got room for it. That's basically it. In the build, you max whatever you're using, sword or axe. You put 1 point in all these. That would be last, though. You max this. You put 1 point into Pyrex, it's max whirlwind. Put 1 point into Berserk, because Berserk allows you to do magic damage to physical immunes. And one of the 3 unique council members has a pretty decent chance to spawn physical immunes. So you won't be able to really kill him fast enough without Berserk. You could kill him, it'll just take a long time. So you need to put 1 point in Berserk. And Berserk's a really good skill. Just with 1 point, you can kill him really fast. So I have Berserk on my left click. I have Whirlwind on my right click. And you put 1 point into all these. You max Shout, max Battle Orders 1 point, and then I'm putting the rest of my points into Find Item to get it as high as possible. Because the only benefit of using a Barb versus a Hammerton is the Find Item. So you want to put as much in that as possible. That's the only reason you're using a Barb. because you get a chance to find extra stuff, and it drops like Player's 8 drops. So find items are really, really good. Oh, that's basically it. I got my shouts on ASD, so I hit those real quick. Whirlwind on E, just so I don't have to hold right click down. I can just hold E down. Berserk's on W. I don't really ever use W because I've got it on my left click. And then find items on my F key. And then G is my town portal. So I just go ASD. And then I hold E when I'm whirlwinding. And then when I'm done, I switch to these find item heart carvers and hold down F to get all the find item. So I'm holding left click, then I hit E. You also get a lot of gems doing this. You can use gems to make perfect gems and reroll stuff. So this is really good for crafting too. You get a lot of gold also. Even though I don't have gold find, I still get a lot of gold with this guy. So I usually go through, pick up the. Usually what I do now once the thing's dead. Oh, T. My T, which is right next to R. I hit T to weapon swap, and I hold down F. You just hold it down, it'll automatically go to every corpse. And then you get extra drops from those corpses, from find item. Sometimes it kind of wigs out. And I switch back. Just pick up whatever I need and just get out of here. A good boot would have 30% run walk, 10% faster hit recovery, and 2 to 3 resistances. So this is not a good boot. I keep these for crafting. Raw runes and soul runes are the only lower runes that I pick up because I use them to craft rings and amulets. And of course the gems would be amethysts and rubies. So perfect amethysts, perfect rubies, which would take 3 flawless each to craft. Amethyst plus raw plus... Oh, pick up jewels too, because any jewel, even a shitty jewel, put those 3 plus the magic item you're using to craft with. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, I've got this. It could be a lot better. It's got attack rating, mana, and life steal. The main thing you want is mana steal. This has 5% mana steal. So when you're crafting your rings, you want to look for something with mana, life steal. It's got some strength, life, man. This is a pretty good ring. It's not godly, but it's pretty decent. So that's just for mana steal. Because whirlwind's kind of mana intensive, so you want to be able to steal mana. That's pretty much it. Yeah, just for whirlwind. Whirlwind is kind of spendy on the mana. Whirlwind takes mana to use. You don't have to put any points in mana. I only put enough dex to use the phase blades, which require 136 dex. Of course, this gives you attributes too. So 12 to all attributes, 16 to all attributes. If you're wearing Ariats, you get 20 to dex. So my base dex is 88. My space strength is 106. I just have enough strength to use the fortitude, or the highest. Whatever the highest strength requirement is, actually the highest is Ariats. So, enough strength for equipment, enough dex for equipment, the rest in vitality, none in energy. And when you use battle orders, it buffs your mana too. So my mana is like 500 something with battle orders. It's pretty good mana. It's not bad. So this is my life, my mana before battle orders. When I cast these, you always do battle command first to raise all your skill levels. Then I always do battle orders and shout. I always do shout last because it lasts the least duration. So now my mana is 433. My life is 17, which is a lot of life. That's plenty of life to survive. You're pretty much never going to die. I mean, you don't have to worry about dying, really. I mean, you're pretty much not going to die. If you have this equipment that I have, you're not going to die, basically. You don't ever have to worry about it. See, he's physical immune, so I will left click him to use Berserk, because Berserk does pure magic damage. And I just rinse and repeat. Always pick up rare rings, always pick up jewels. And like I said, you get a lot of gems too, so you're going to end up having a lot of perfect gems. And gold for crafting, you're going to get a lot of gold for crafting too. You just run that shit over and over. You can gear any character with this. You're finding your rune finding. You find a lot of good runes. You can gear all your characters. Which I have a lot of geared characters already. I just kind of got sick of playing with Hammerton. Even if it's a shitty jewel, I always save them because you craft with them. And it can be rare or magic. So this would craft a ring, jewel, soul rune, perfect ruby. This would craft an amulet, jewel, raw rune, perfect amethyst. And then you want to gamble the ring or amulet. It has to be magic. I always gamble with my highest level character, my level 94 Hammerton. Because you have to have at least level 93 to gamble an amulet that can be a 220. And on the rings, I'm not sure. You can be a lot lower level, I think, on the rings. But the rings, I still gamble with my Hammerton. I just gamble with my highest level character. Any magic ring, any magic amulet. This is the amulet recipe. This is the ring recipe. That's the recipe for blood rings, which always gets life steal. And you want to get mana steal with it. And then the amulet is just a caster amulet, which you always get 5% faster cast rate and other stuff. I can't remember. If you're making Fortitude, the base I would say to use would be Archon Plate. You need 4 open socket Archon Plate. This one actually had 15%. It was a superior 15%. That's why I'm 215 enhanced defense instead of 200. But the only thing that can change on Fortitude is the resistances roll. It can go from 25 to 30. So mine is anti-perfect. It actually has a 25, so I rolled very bad on this. But it's still fine. You don't really need it. It's just for resale value. If you roll a perfect one, it sells for a lot more just because everybody wants perfect items. But I'm not going to trade it. When you're leveling a melee barb, though, you do want to use Mace Mastery. And then you respec once you get your Grief Blades, because maces are pretty much best for leveling. You know, you can shop flails and get malice and other rune words in the flails. And always level with Frenzy. You don't level with Whirlwind. You don't switch to Whirlwind until like level 40 plus. Then you switch to Whirlwind. Actually, I'd probably wait past 40. I'd probably wait till I could just max it. Because with Whirlwind, the first point you put in Whirlwind, if you don't have any plus to skills, you actually do less damage. You actually get -% damage. So I would just wait till I had 20 points to put in it. Probably level 60 plus, and then respec and max Whirlwind. Once you have what you need while you're leveling, you just put 1 point in bash, max out double swing. Once you get double swing level 9, it effectively doesn't cost any mana at all. So you can use double swing without mana. And then go to Frenzy. Do a Frenzy Barb until you get your equipment for Whirlwind, then you respec to Whirlwind. This guy was actually a Frenzy Barb until past level 80 something. You can actually do these runs with Frenzy too. It doesn't matter if you're Whirlwind or Frenzy. It doesn't really matter. Or Whirlwind Whirlwind or Frenzy. The skill you use doesn't even matter. You can actually even use Berserk. You can actually have a Berserk Barb and do this. The only thing is the find item. You just have to have a good find item. One reason I use Whirlwind too is because Whirlwind does not have any synergies. So Frenzy has a lot of synergies, so you're going to use a lot of skill points just to get a good just to max out your Frenzy damage. With Whirlwind, there's no synergy, so you max Whirlwind, and then you have a lot of skill points free. You can max out Battle Order, Shout, and actually eventually max it and put a lot of points in this. And you still have a lot. You have a lot of skill points to put points into stuff. That's why I use Whirlwind. Plus, it's got AOE, so I mean you actually end up killing quicker too. I think Whirlwind's a little bit quicker than Frenzy killing, maybe. If you're killing a lot of stuff. Frenzy would be better for single target, but since you're killing all these council members, I think Whirlwinds might be a little bit quicker. It's not much quicker, really. It's not really much quicker. If you use Frenzy, you can do dual grief. Or grief plus death. I was using grief plus death. That's why I have that death in my stash. And if you're using Frenzy, I would recommend you put the death in an Ethereal Colossus Sword. There's Colossus Sword and there's Colossus Blade. Colossus Blade's a little bit faster, but Colossus Sword does higher average damage. And your offhand in Frenzy, you want to put it in your left, not right. Your main hand, you want to have a grief. Your offhand, you want to have a death if you're doing Frenzy. Because your main hand dictates that's going to get you your attack speed or whatever. So death and offhand would be good. Plus, Death has Mana Steal on it too, so if you're running Frenzy, you don't have to have a Mana Steal ring because Death has Mana Steal. So that's one benefit of using Frenzy. You don't have to worry about Mana Steal on your ring. And Frenzy costs a lot less mana anyway. It doesn't really... When I was Frenzy, I basically ran this. Grief main hand, Death offhand. But dual griefs are better for damage for Whirlwind. I don't worry about running a mercenary when I'm doing these runs. It doesn't make that big of a difference. And then if he dies, you just have to buy him back again. But the best mercenary would probably be, obviously, Act 2 with an Ethereal Reaper's Toll for the weapon, because Reaper's Toll has a chance to proc Decrepify, which raises your melee damage. Armor would be Fortitude, because it gives your Merc extra damage, which that doesn't really matter. You can run Ethereal Shell, Shaft Stop, Ethereal Shaft Stop, whatever. And then your helmet, something with Lifesteal. You can use Andariel's Visage. You can use Crown of Thieves. Crown of Thieves is pretty good. Or you can even use a Tall's Mask. Anything with life steal on your helmet of your merc, so you can get life steal. And obviously, merc stuff, you want it to be ethereal if you can, because mercs do not use durability, so you want everything to be ethereal if possible. The helmet to be ethereal, the armor to be ethereal. So when you're building your fortitude for your mercenary, you want to put it in an ethereal armor. You could use an Archon plate or any other ethereal armor with high defense. 800 plus defense is preferable. So any 4-socket ethereal elite armor with 800 plus defense would be the best to use. But the armor really doesn't matter that much. That's just for resale value, because a lot of people just want to have really high armor on their mercenary, just to have it. It doesn't make that big of a difference, really. But I don't know. People are weird in this game. They want everything to be as high as possible and as perfect as possible. Damn, nobody's in the stream right now, dude. Oh. Oh, Boatner was streaming yesterday. I rated his stream. I gotta do a fucking Wester here in a second. But yeah, I found multiple goal runes doing this. Found Vex rune, found Sur rune. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not playing near as much as I used to. If you played a full 8 hours, I mean, you're gonna find something. You're gonna find a good rune. You're almost guaranteed. So if this is the only character you ever play, if you gear up this character and just run Trav over and over, it's the only thing you ever do, you're going to get a lot of good runes. It's just inevitable. On top of, magic items and stuff. You can get a lot of stuff, unique rings, unique amulets. I've got a lot of Raven Frosts running this. I've actually found 3 or 4 Raven Frosts. Get a lot of good charms. Charms can be very valuable. It's hard to find a really valuable one, but when you do, it trades for a lot. It can trade for more than high runes. I mean, if you get a really, really good one, it can trade for a lot of stuff. The only uniques and sets you can't find are really high level ones, like Tyrael's Might and stuff like that. Which a lot of that stuff's not even really used anyway. Like you can find this. You can find all this stuff. All these uniques you can find off Trav. You can craft for that. There's a lot of good stuff you can find. Can't find a Death's Web. I don't think you can find a Death's Web here. And the good thing about Grief and a phase blades are really cheap to trade for. 5-socket. Set has 5 sockets. It's a really cheap base, really commonly found. It's pretty easy to find them. You will find your 2 5-socket phase blades before you have the low runes, probably, to make Grief. You'll probably already have found 2 5-socket phase blades before you find the low runes. So you probably won't even have to trade for them.
Good day.
I get damaged so little that I really pretty much never use my potions, so I don't have to refill on potions that much. Because I mean, I pretty much don't really take damage. That's another good thing. Like when I run with my gold fine singer Barb, I constantly have to refill potions. Because he takes a lot of damage. When you're whirlwinding, you're life leeching, so I mean you basically just about any damage you take, you pretty much heal it back from life leech. So find a lot of grand charms too. If you find grand charms with skills on it, you can trade those too. Good. I remember playing Sacred back in the day too. I'd forgotten about that game. It's a pretty cool game. I've already maxed my gold out for my stash. So many long rounds, dude. Unbelievable. gotta go take on Wester.